Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So as you can see, we've got some bundles of comic books. I've paid a set amount for all of these here, every single one of them. There is over 180 comics, I believe, here, varying from the old picture styles to old comic books that are a bit thicker than normal comic books. But today, in this video, we're going to be focusing on this stack here and this stack here. So, as I was saying, I'm Kudji, and I'm going to guide you through my buying and reselling history and future, along with future videos that are going to come out. I'm going to be having Q&As with people that have been in the buying and reselling industry for a few years, right through to people who have been in it decades. They've helped and guided me along the way, give me tips and tricks too. So yeah, let's get right into it and get through the comics. So that's them ones gone, but I think these ones need to go as well while we go through these. So here we are, we're going to go through these first, and let's get right into it. So straight away, straight off the bat, you can tell they're old, you can tell that they're vintage. We've got some wear and tear on the spines, discoloration on page edges, stuff like that. So what I do suggest is washing your hands, making sure your hands are nice and clean before you go through old stuff like this. And yeah, let's get right through them. So start off the bat, I love the artwork on old comic books. I love the fact that the title pages and the covers are always colour, they're vibrant, they catch your eye. And as soon as you're getting into the story, you're in a black and white world. I have sorted through the majority of these, and most of these stacks you will find that they vary in price between £2 and between £5 and £10 per book. Now you can bundle them, as you can see I have got multiples of the same company that do the illustrations and stuff. So in some cases you can find that you can make more money by bundling items, and bundling items that are the same sequence order, the same run order. So you've got Lion Pictures Library, and you can see that they are in the same run of stories. The Baited Trap. But yeah, the artwork, the shadowing on the artwork and stuff like that, it's really good. So first off, we get into one of these comics that have got cracks all over the pages, they've got tears, the inside still look good, you've got rusting where the staplers are, stuff like that. When listing, you want to make sure you do in your description, you're listing and you're describing as much as you can about the item that you're selling, whether that be a board game or a console or a comic book, because the more detail you've got, the more likely it is to sell, whether that's sell for a lower price or higher price depending on the quality of the item. See, with this comic book here, when I was researching this, it is the same price as everything else, but when I was researching this comic, I don't know if any of you guys in the comments can tell me, but was this character what DB Cooper based his great robbery off? Because I remember seeing a documentary, but I couldn't remember what the comic book was. I know it was some, I want to say Austrian guy or something like that, that used to visit Canada and the Canadian Air Force and stuff like that, and some of the Canadian Air Force pilots are actually the characters that was drawn in that comic book. I can't remember the actual comic book, but yeah. You only die once, unless you're a superhero. I'm only joking. I'm not a superhero. Taken by storm. Again, we see damage issues. As long as you're making sure that you're listing on all this and you're describing all this when you're listing it, then you're going to be fine. But just don't expect for every item to be in top quality condition, because you could look at something and see face value and see that it looks good, then you get it home and it either doesn't work or you've got some work to do to it. So bear in mind that when you've got to do stuff like that when buying and reselling, you're also learning. You're also learning how to repair something. Now, I wouldn't say repair books. I mean, there is a book somewhere in here that the cover's completely off. And when we get to that, I'll explain more. So as you see, this one's in pretty decent condition, just storage issues, stuff like that, couple of marks, bending around the edges. Ooh, Castle of Doom. Looks like William Wallace. They may take my life, but they'll never take my freedom. Grr, damn the English. And then we've got these bigger comics that are like 224 pages. As we see, you've got to make sure you check all this, because just because on face value it looks good, but then you get through and there's that one page that's just not right, and you've got to make sure you can describe all this. In some cases, you want to put the page number and let the customer know that what page is wrong, where pages are missing. You see this in stuff like Harry Potter's and first editions, where there's print errors and people will put the print error is on this page and take a picture of where the print error is. It's the same with everything. You want to take a picture of the damage, you want to take a picture of it as a whole and make sure that you're giving as much detail as you can on that product. Now, I do know there is 71 of these comics, and out of all of these, some of them can go for between £2 and £10 each, but I always recommend think you're going to get £2, hope you get more, but don't put too much hope in getting more, because you don't know if that one could sell for £5 and that one could sell for £3. You just don't know. So don't expect to get the same price for the same comics. And then when you bundle them, you can put the price up a bit more, depending on what you paid. As long as you've got multiple of them and the quantity's there, you can bundle them and make a bit more profit that way. Don't know why I'm putting them there. Fight on. He looks really engaged in warfare there, doesn't he? Ah, take that. Again, some stains, some aging, but that's everything that you're going to end up putting in the description anyway. Lost at Sea. Open conflict. Again, majority of the time you will see plenty of aging depending on how they have been stored. Doodlebug. Ooh. Seaplane. Stuck in the middle of a chain reaction. That's what you need to strive to be, a born leader. That's it. When you're doing stuff like this is what you do. You learn fast and you live. And when you're doing stuff like this, you're constantly learning. So if you see this item again, you know whether to stay away from it, you know whether to buy it again, you know the kind of history behind it, depending on how much research you do on your items. You will find that it all becomes muscle memory, basically, and that's actually a great time to plug my other channel. I do a lot of acting. I love acting, and my other channel should pop up here as well. I'll put it across the screen, and it's just like that. Buying and reselling, when you're doing items, and you're doing items by repairing them, restoring them, fixing them up, cleaning them, it's all muscle memory, and you understand what to clean it with, what not to clean it with. So because you never want to damage an item even more than either what it is, or you never want to add to the description by having to add more information of something that you've done while damaging it, but just explaining the damage or what's happened during repairing. Again, you see people that have tried to restore stuff themselves, and this is why I say wash your hands, because as you can see the discoloration under the sellotape from when it got repaired, you see the gunk that's held underneath into the sellotape. So yeah, make sure you keep washing your hands. Prison Commando. Cut off. Oh, looks like they're just about to blow this tank up. And now we're on to what I believe is a mix of westerns and stuff like that. So this one, I kind of like this one a bit more than the others, because I like the way that the artwork goes over the text, and you see, I'm guessing it says thrilling stories told in pictures. I haven't done much research on this one, so I'm guessing that's what it is. I could be just spinning you a web of lies, but who knows. Return of the Renegade is in the moonlight, chilling. Again, prisoner of war, cracking, rips, extensive damage on the spine and page ripped, edging's quite filthy. But yeah, other than that, the pages look good, just aging and stuff inside. I will say as well, when I'm saying the prices of these items, I'm saying them not including postage, because in some cases, like say this item here could be £2 and I will put a certain amount on top for postage, or I'll put that as a separate entity so the customer has to pay the postage, depending on the item or whether it's bundled and stuff like that can vary on the price of the postage, so please be aware of that. However, all these items that I'm showing you in this video I've done without postage. I haven't added postage, so when I give you a total, that's the total I expect to get from everything and the postage the customer's paid for. One of the most popular cowboys, Billy the Kid. So who do we think's been cheating here? Do we think Billy's been cheating, or do we think the other guys have been cheating? Tell me in the comments. In the comments? In the comments. See, this is something you don't really see much of in westerns and stuff like that. It's usually bravado and it's all macho and it's man with guns and pow pow, that kind of stuff. But here we've got Lucy Stanton, the world's toughest woman. It is actually in very good condition. It has got pencil marks on it. Someone's decided to just write $2.29 on the side. Whether they decided to write that in pencil for some other reason or they're just selling it for $2.29, no one knows. But the page quality, again, it's just some aging. Don't be over aggressive when bending the pages and stuff to check the quality, because you don't want to damage something that's not necessarily got damage by ultra bending it to scroll through and check. But the artwork on some of these old comics and the old picture books are just amazing. It's amazing how from the 60s and 70s that even with storage issue to pages, that the colour hasn't faded on the covers, and you still see the illustrations and artwork as they are. Yeah, you're going to see some aging, but it's nice to see the quality still in there in the books. Like I said, there is a lot of cowboy ones in this one. Death Trail. Coward's Gun. So this is the one I was talking about before, where the cover is completely separate from the book. It is obviously, as you can see, Coward's Gun, Coward's Gun. It is for the correct book and cover. So what I would say is, just because you know how to use some glue and stuff like that doesn't mean you should. Leave that to whoever buys it, because you don't want to, unless you know how, obviously, but you really don't want to glue something and then leave it and then realise that you've done it off centre or something like that, and then the edges at the bottom get ripped or stuff like that. But yeah, it has got damage to it. The cover can be restored, as in by reconnecting it to the book, but I'd leave that to someone who knows what they're doing when it comes to restoring stuff. However, that doesn't mean that you can't restore stuff. It just means research how to do something before you do it, and what you can use to do it. Again, the artwork in these, some creases, but the artwork, just love them. As you can tell, I am a comic book nerd. I do have my own collection of Green Hornets and some Marvel and stuff like that. Deputy's Vengeance. Pow, right in the kisser. Caught him with a really good left hook there, I guess. Like these ones here, compared to the rest of the stacks here, I do only have 3 of these, but these can vary between £5 and £10 rather than the generic £2 to £10 on the rest of them. But I will still put these in the £2 to £10 collection, just for the simple fact that estimations can go up and down. People might not want to pay the full price, so you might end up having to take a little less than you normally would. So that's why I suggest either bundling or getting used to that part of reselling, in knowing how to list something. I mean, you can even put stuff on auction on certain sites, so yeah. But yeah, again, amazing artwork. Some spinal damage, but other than that, pardon me. I will also say as well, you do find that in books, can you see how it peters out this way? You can see how it bends a little bit. That's due from storage issues and people, like I'm doing here, storing on top of other stuff, and you can see the piles leaning because of how I'm just putting them on top of each other. But if the weight is on one side, you can see that weight's going to affect the spine. Some cases it could be the reader that has literally just doing stuff like this, and I prefer to show you by bending the book from the center rather than there to make it worse. Gunslinger. Ooh, we're on to the commandos. So with these commandos, I do have a few of these commandos, and I will probably, quite a few there. Yeah, so with these commandos, spinal issues. I don't know if it's like you see on DVD box sets where the edges and the spines make a big picture. I don't know about that. I haven't done that much research. But what I will say is stuff like this, if it's a low price and you really don't have the time to post them individually and sell them individually, when you've got a collection, make sure you put in the issue numbers, what issue numbers you have, how many there is, what condition of each one is. Take as many pictures as you can to show the quality and quantity of what you have for any respected buyer. But again, the artwork is just amazing. And it says these are war stories and pictures, so whether they're actual stories, factual stories, fictional stories, who knows. That's something that you could do in research, and you could put it into the description of the item. Depends on how deep and how much knowledge you want on that item. And again, some of these air fighter jets and stuff like that. Dogfight. And yeah, So all of these are between £2 and £10 each. I'm going to aim for about £2 each, and anything above that is amazing. I will say that I am going to... There is 71 there, and I am going to list them all eventually, and maybe do a video about how much I get for them when some sell, stuff like that, in future videos, just maybe stuff like that. And yeah, so there's 71 of those, and let's get on to the other stack. So here we are, here's the second and final stack. So out of the other ones, these ones, there's just over 30 books in there, maybe a few more. I'll probably count them up as I'm going. What I will say is these ones can vary again between £5 and £50. That's not an exaggeration. I've done the research, and some of these in some of the conditions can vary. Some of these I can get between £10 and £20 for. Some of them I can get £5 and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's go through them. So like I said before, condition can be a factor on price. So they will still sell, but it'll probably cost you something like this will probably cost you more to post it than you'll actually get for the item. I'll put that to the side because I don't want to put that to the bottom and get it even more damaged. So this one here, I've done a little bit of research. There's some damage on the edges, there's pencil marks, stuff like that. The one I've seen is in similar condition to this, but it's listed in dollars. It's listed in $89.99. So I haven't seen a sold one, so that could vary. And again, I won't go to the high end of the price that I've seen. I will go to the lower end, which I'd say between £5 and £10. Anything above that is a bonus. Quite a few Superman ones. Again, these can range between £5 and £50 depending on the quality of the one. Superboy. Would it be a classic Superman day without his best pal Jimmy? Adventure Comics Superboy featuring Superboy and the Legion of Heroes. Let's go. Oh no, Superman looks confused. Lois Lane's in a chamber. No. Goodbye, Superman. We're tired of waiting for you to propose. When we wake up in the future, you'll be dead, dead, dead. Love, Lois and Lana. I like how they just named it Lois Lane when it's Lois and Lana. But again, condition-wise, spine, edges, check the quality of the pictures and stuff inside. We're in colour now, so yeah. Jimmy's having a right old laugh here. So yeah. Justice League. Oh no. Superman got caught with a blow. Kapow. So this Wonder Woman one, I've seen this again. I've seen it listed in dollars. It was around $38. So I will expect to get at least £5 for this. Anything else is a bonus. Undersea Agent. And as you can see, we are getting into the thicker versions of the graphic novels now. Some of these are extremely thicker than normal because they have bigger stories and stuff like that. A couple of Batmans. This Batman here has 4 adventures. I kind of like this one because, like, Invisible Batman, you just see the outline of him. It's just, yeah, pretty funny. Well, Eerie Tales. Ooh. Supernatural. Fantastic Tales. Sinister Tales. Again, you can see with these, the edging has turned, the spine has curved through storage and reading. So yeah, as you can see, some of these I've got general wear and tear from people reading them and stuff like that. Creepy worlds of giant man and the wonderful wasp. Zzz. Let's go. Ooh, creepy worlds. Secrets unknown. Again, excellent quality in some of these, but again, it's just the edging. Some of the qualities you see wear and tear. With this one, you can see it was probably owned by a kid who's marked it with pen and drawn on it and stuff. So as long as you put in all this kind of information in your descriptions, your item will sell, but you've just got to remember to put all this information in, because the last thing you want is to sell something and it's a £2 item and they've paid the customer will have paid for postage, but then if they have to return it because it's not as described, then you have to pay the postage back. And if you paid £2, the item sells for £2, then that's 80p you've only got in profit total. But then on top of that, you've got to take your commission out for whatever platform you're selling from, kind of stuff like that. So yeah, it all varies. Out of this world. Astonishing stories. Uncanny tales. Again, this one just mentioned it's got no back cover to it, so you'll have to do a bit more research on this, because you don't want to find out that you've sold it with just a back cover missing and then find out that there's the last page of the story missing as well. More uncanny. I'll hold you in suspense. Only joking. But yeah, getting down to the last couple of ones now, and here we go. What a way to end it with a big cheesy grin like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, like I said, just above, I'm going to say there's 40 because I didn't fully count them, I'm not going to lie. And there's 71 there and 40 there, which gives you a grand total of 110 just in these two stacks. And at £2 a piece, that is £222. I said two. Did I say 110? There's 111. So that's around £212. Sorry, £122 of comic books just in these. Obviously, the overall total can go up or down. And I was going to tell you what the whole table cost at the beginning of the video, but instead, this Avengers badge set and a couple of comics that was in this stack here, in the next video I'm going to do a competition. So if you can guess, comment on this video, and if you can guess what I paid for everything that was on the table at the beginning, you will win this and maybe 3 or 4 comics from the newer stack that are up here, and the closest person to it will win the badges and 3 comic books. So yeah, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Any questions about buying and reselling and other stuff like that, don't be afraid to comment in the comment box. Leave me comments, tell me if you like this video, give me a thumbs, a sub. Would love to interact with you and let you tell me what you think. Also, it won't be just comic books. I did comic books first because I like comic books myself and I enjoy the artwork within them. I enjoy the stories, and I'm a big Marvel buff as well on top of that. So there will be plenty of other diverse items on these videos in future. So yeah, thank you for watching.